We're engaged again in our Bible study from Psalm 86. As you are finding this particular psalm, it's a lament, as they call it, or some, as a Walter Brueggemann, who's a scholar in studies and writings of the Psalter, calls it a psalm of disorientation, meaning that it is one's orientation of, I expect if I do A, B will happen. And if I do B, then I can expect C, that kind of logical sequence of things going on. Example, I love God, I pray, I love people, I do what's right, therefore I can expect E to receive it. That kind of orientation and expectation of life. But there are psalms and life experiences that Brueggemann refers to as a disorientation, that I do A, I do B, I do C, and somehow I end up at X. That's the unexpected. I add 1 plus 1 plus 1, I expect 3, but look like I get 2.5. That's what he means by this sense of life can bring experiences that appear to be disorienting. Psalm 86 is one of those. It's a prayer from the psalmist who is a believer in God. I'll say more about that. And he's not angry. He's not fussing. He's not asking God for retribution. He's not asking God to zap his enemies. I'm not sure he even asked God to change things, but in a rather subtle manner, he just expresses how he's feeling. And sometimes as believers, we just don't honestly express to God how we are feeling. Well, Lord, I'm okay today, and really we're not okay today. Lord, I'll get over this, but really, Lord, I don't know when I want to get over it. Okay? That's what I meant, and that's what the psalmist does, I believe, for us. It pushes people who believe in God to be honest about the immediacy and the immediate that they are experiencing now, and honestly expressing it. Thich Nhat Hanh, one of the writers I like to read, Buddhist monk, he uses the word mindfulness, being mindful of the moment, and embracing with honesty the moment, being mindful. Let's read Psalm 86 and just feel it. Don't go back and try to say, what is he saying? Just let it say what it says. And again, my brothers and sisters, sometimes we're so busy analyzing the words and seeking to be so politically correct that we just, this psalmist just say, hey, wait a minute, let me just talk. And as I like to say, let me just talk plain. And that's what Psalm 86 does. Hear this, and I'm reading from the New Revised Standard, verses 1 through 17. Then we'll come back and tick with it some. Incline your ear, O Lord, and answer me, for I am poor and needy. Preserve my life, for I am devoted to you. Save your servant who trusts in you. You are my God. Be gracious to me, O Lord, for to you do I cry all day long. Gladden the soul of your servant, for to you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. For you, O Lord, good and forgiving, abounding in steadfast love to all who call on you. Verse 6, give ear, O Lord, to my prayers, my prayer. Listen to my cry of supplication. In the day of my trouble, I call to you, for you will answer me. There is none like you among the gods, O Lord. None are there, nor are there any works like yours. All the nations you have made shall come and bow down before you, O Lord, and shall glorify your name. For you are great and do wondrous things. You alone are God. Teach me your way, O Lord, for that I may walk in your truth. Give me an undivided heart to revere your name. I give thanks to you, O Lord, my God, with my whole heart, and I will glorify your name forever. For great is your steadfast love towards me. You have delivered my soul from the depths of Sheol. O God, the insolent rise up against me. A band of ruffians seek my life, and they do not set you before them. But you, O Lord, are a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness. Turn to me. Be gracious to me. Give your strength to your servant. Save the child of your serving girl. Show me a sign of your favor, so that those who hate me may see it and be put to shame. Because you, Lord, have helped me and comforted me. Amen. Psalm 86 is known as a lament. It's an individual who's living with events in life that cause a sense of disorientation from the ordinary, that good people expect good things to happen to them. Loving people expect love in return. Generous persons don't ask for it, but quietly it is expected that somewhere that they would receive. If I have favor with God, there's some things I don't expect that I'll have to go through. If I'm God's child, I expect God to protect me. But this psalmist is saying that that's not exactly how life is played out. He lifts up clearly that there are accusing persecutors and persecution. Life brings deathly circumstances and unpalatable, threatening times to people of faith. Are you listening? just because you are streaming and coming to church and wearing your mask and sanitizing your hands and on and on and on and on and on doesn't exempt you from the possibility of the virus. And that's what's so damaging about this. I prayed about it. Pray all you want. But the psalmist is saying that's not real, nor is it realistic as one lives their life. Notice clearly as you read this, and I tried to emphasize some of this in reading it, that this person is not angry. Don't like the circumstances, but he's not angry. And one of the challenges for people of faith during times of disorientation, when I'm not reaping what I expect, is to become angry. Angry with those that are around me, and angry with God, and sometimes angry with myself for being so kind. And sometimes we've called ourselves a big fool. You're stupid. How could you be so stupid to expect you should have known better? You know how we beat ourselves up when we've done something and then it's reversed from what we expect? I'll never do that again. I knew better than that. You see, but he's not angry. But he's expressing honest feelings with God, and he seeks God's just presence, and he just needs to talk. He doesn't ask for vindictiveness. He doesn't ask for revenge. He doesn't ask for what goes around comes around. He's not asking for divine retribution. He's not asking God to zap his adversaries. You've got to live close to God to live like this. And one of the things now I'm sensing, people of faith are really being tested in this crucible of the political arena, and I'm not going to talk about it, the social arena, being isolated in my house, my condo. I can't walk around. If I see somebody without a mask on, I get an attitude. And sometimes I'll even say something. And if I don't say something, God, if my eyes could talk, Lord Jesus. Huh? That's not where he is. He's reflecting on life. Look at verses 6 and 7 of this psalm again. Listen to this. Feel him. Feel this. Give ear, O Lord, to my prayer. What is he saying? Lord, just listen to me. Just hear me out. Listen to my cry of supplication. Lord, I have some needs. I'm in a situation. I don't like it, Lord. I don't like being in COVID-19 and knowing that this may go on another 1 to 3 to 6 to 9 to 12 months. Knowing that when they get a vaccine, I'm going to be kind of skeptic and see if it works before I take it. Are y'all listening to me? Huh? You know. Lord, you feel him? I just need you to hear me out. Verse 7. In the day of my trouble, I cried to you. You hear him? In the day of my trouble, I cried to you. For you will answer me. Oh, wait a minute. Confidence. There it is. I came to you with it. I'm talking to you about it. And I believe that you'll answer. You notice he didn't put a time frame on it? Right now? Lord, in time, I believe you will answer. Notice verse 13. For great is your steadfast love towards me. You have delivered my soul from the depths of Sheol. You've delivered me from a place of death. Lord, I've got a history with you. See, that's the importance of memory, and our psalm for Sunday, Psalm 44. I'll grapple with this more during this preaching moments of the importance of having history with God. Do you have any history with God? What do you mean by that, Pastor Jones? Are there experiences in your life that you know that God has delivered you from and or brought you through or protected you from possible catastrophic experiences? Are there any experiences that you know? Have you had any? I still remember my first one. It was on Highway 1 coming from Henderson to Wake Forest when I was in seminary. From church meeting and Bible study of all places. Roads were clear, it had been snowy. There was a small patch of ice on the road. Didn't pay it any mind. I grew up driving in snow and ice. I went through it, and before I knew it, the car flipped around and flipped over upside down and dropped off an embankment for about 20 feet. It was a 1967 Super Sport, 4-door, hard top. I didn't have a seatbelt on. I remember nothing except feeling like I was in somebody's hands. When the car flipped over, I reached up calmly and cut it off, opened the door, found my Bible, I got my Bible, crawled out of the car in the water and snow and mud, and walked up on the side of the road and waved the car down that stopped, and the police finally showed up. Not a scratch, not a no harm, no broken bones. Windows in the car weren't even broken. How did you get through that? I know the Lord will take care of you. You see, that's what he's saying. That I've had experience with God. And come on, y'all. We have had too many experiences with God to walk around so depressed now and so angry and so frustrated and lashing out against one another. You know, we're in a whole house and can't get along when some of our parents grew up in a shotgun house with 3 rooms and they slept 3 to a bed. Well, Reverend Jones, I don't remember that. Ask your mama and your grandmama. He'll tell you. Shotgun house. No air conditioning. 1 bathroom if you had that one. Didn't have an entertainment center. You head outside and you'd play hopscotch or jump marbles, or you'd play hide and seek, or you'd make a doll, or you'd make up games, play pick-up sticks or marbles. You use your imagination. And now we got 8 rooms, 3 bathrooms, an entertainment center, and we still can't get along in the same house. And it's nobody but you and your dog. And you mad at the dog. You got attitude because you got to walk the dog. The dog didn't ask to come to your house. Now you come on, I got to walk you again. You know, and if you let him out and he runs off somewhere, then you're fussing at the dog. See, the next time I'll let you out. Come on. The psalmist is saying that I've got history with God, who has delivered me. And I want us to think more about that as we live and stop living with so much anger and anxiety, and I don't know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. We're going to get through this crisis, and we hopefully going to be a stronger, more faithful people and nation and country. That's my prayer. God has done it before, and he will do it again. That's what this psalmist is saying as he is reflecting on life. He could have said, I shouldn't be going through this. Are you listening? But he didn't try to put God on a guilt trip about how nice he was, how good he was, and he didn't deserve this, he didn't deserve that. The psalmist expresses, in fact, a high regard for God when during his crises, as he is going through, not blaming God for his current troubling situation. Notice verses 8 and 10. Again, there is no one like you among the gods, O Lord, nor are there any works like yours. Verse 10, for you are great and do wondrous things. You alone are God. Have you just had a moment and just thanked God for being God? Hello? No, not asking, not pleading, not complaining, not necessarily thanking, but just acknowledging God being good and doing wondrous works. What do you mean by that, Pastor Jones? Thanking God for something as simple as your eyes. What did you say? Thank God for your eyes. You thank God for breathing. Thank God for your lungs. Thank God for your heart. Do you know the heart is the one muscle in your body that doesn't rest? When you're sleeping, do you know your heart is still pumping? As long as you live, as old as you are, or as young as you are, your heart hasn't missed, or we would say skipped a beat. When is the last time that you just sat down and thank God for your body? Something that simple. Your eyes, you can see. Ears. You know what's interesting? I picked this up again from my Buddhist friend. God put lids on our eyes, but he didn't put lids on our ears. Are you listening? Thanking God. He says, you are God alone. I could complain. I'm going through some troubles. I've got some ruffians and some other guys and some other folk giving me hell. I'm dealing with it. But you are God alone. Clearly, the psalmist is a believer in God. Look at verse 2. Preserve my life, for I'm devoted to you. Save your servant who trusts in you. You are my God. I'm yours, Lord. And I need you. I'm just affirming, Lord. I'm just being upfront with you. I am yours. And I'm devoted to you. Notice verse 7. There is none like you among gods, O Lord, nor are there any works like yours. As a believer, think we used to sing sometimes, if it had not been for the Lord on my side. Tell me where. You remember that? The Lord is on our side. Living with more confidence, living with more gratitude, not with a vindictive spirit, not angrily, not in fear. This is expressed further in, look at phrases in verse number 2. You are my God. Verse number 5. Surely you, O Lord. Verse 10. You alone are God. Verse 15. But you, O Lord, are a God. Verse 17. Because you, Lord, have helped. All are expressive of a psalmist who knows God. What does the psalmist knowingly express about God? He expresses, as you find in verse 5, for you, O Lord, are good and forgiving, abounding in steadfast love to all who call upon you. Can you say, God, you're good? Have you had enough experiences? Talk to me, somebody, that you can say, not your mama, not your daddy. I ain't interested in all of that. But can you say, with your current situation, Lord, you are good. Verse 15. But you, O Lord, are a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness. That's what we have in God. Love. Presence continuously. Love. I come back to that again. A God who hears. A God who takes care. God who forgives. And a God whose presence is unchangeable as we go through all that we go through. And this psalmist recognized his dependence on God as he goes further. Regardless of what you've been through, regardless of what you know, verse number 11, we need to continuously come back and say, teach me your way, O Lord. And I believe for me, that's where we are as a nation right now. That we need to be asking God to teach us what we didn't learn previously. That has caused us to be where we are. The lessons for life. Verse 13 expresses confidence with the current unpleasantries of life and the recognition that God has delivered this psalmist from death itself. And then verse 17, the last verse, is an honest request birthed out of a pre-expressed relationship with God, as you saw, we see in verses 1 and 2, reasons for God to respond. Why should God respond? Because I've inclined my ear. I've trusted him. I've devoted my life to him. And I need him. I want to suggest to each of us, as we take this lesson from Psalm 86, and be very intentional and very honest as we approach God prayerfully. And I want to encourage you to find a time, take a time, plan a time over the next 7 days and just give God thanks for being God, one, and then thank God for your body and your life at this stage. Thank him for your eyes, your hands, your shoulders, your digestion, your ears to hear, being able to walk, maybe slow, but moving. And just take a moment and thank God for all that he has done and doing. I believe if you will do this, thank him for the food. As you're eating your meal, just take a moment as you're chewing. Thank God for the rice and for the gravy and for the chicken and for the beans and for the tomatoes and for the cucumbers. As you're chewing all of this, thank God for taste. Guide us by your Spirit, please, Lord, as we are learning to give you thanks. Teach us how to be grateful. Amen.